Hello, everyone. Drew Roberts here with Milwaukee Real Producers. Today, I am joined by a few of the board members of the Women's Council of Milwaukee Realtors Milwaukee. And so we're really excited to get to know them a little bit better today. We have Michael Gniot, Jennifer Landers, and Mo Simmons with us. And so I appreciate all you guys taking your time today. I know I talked to Michael a little bit and just wanted to give everybody some insight into Women's Council and some of the things that they have going on and really what they've been building over the last year since Michael and I first met. So really appreciate you guys taking your time today.
Absolutely.
Starting off, Michael, I'd love for you to give everybody a little bit of background on yourself, kind of your role in Women's Council, and just a little bit more insight into the organization as a whole.
Sure. I joined Women's Council about 3 years ago, just out of curiosity. I had ran into some other members at the state convention at the Dells, and decided to join. And I thought, it was fine. It was, like I said, it was 3 years ago. I went to a few functions. I'm a relationship-based person.
Oh. There you are.
I'm a relationship-based, sorry about that. I'm a relationship-based person, so one of the biggest takeaways that I get from Women's Council are relationships. So I joined to meet people in Milwaukee that don't run in my circle. And I found it to be valuable. It was fine. And I thought, well, maybe I would get more value out of it if I, participated more. So I went to the incoming president and, asked her if she needed help with anything, and eventually became president-elect. And I still thought everything was fine. But it wasn't until I went to the national training in Chicago, that I actually saw what the potential of Women's Council is. And when you go to one of these things, it completely changes your view of what you're doing in Women's Council and what Women's Council can be for a lot of people in your area. So I came back from that meeting. I had to put a board together. I met with all my board members just to talk with them to see where they were at and see if they wanted to go into 2020 with me. We ended up having a really good structural meeting at the end of the year, and we kind of jumped in with both feet in January. Women's Council started in Milwaukee in 1938. It's the founding network in the country. But, compared to what they're doing in Florida, Texas, and California, we're actually we've got a long way to go. And that's what our goals are in Milwaukee. Some of the things that we've done this year is we've partnered up with our two other networks. There's a network in Madison and there's one in the Fox Valley. And so we work close with them. We've had a lot of crossover events. And the other thing that we did that we had went to old previous membership to find out what they liked and what they didn't like. And one of the things that they didn't like is they didn't feel there was enough transparency or communication from the board. So we elected to put all of our minutes online from our board meetings. We've made our board meetings open to the public. So we announce them like an event. People can come if they want. I do a quarterly kind of a newsletter that goes to membership as far as like, here's what we've accomplished. Here's what we have planned. And then we also pick a member of the quarter, and I write an article about the member to kind of introduce them to the other members. So far, it's been met with a lot of enthusiasm. Of course, COVID has completely tied our hands and tied our feet together to where we're very frustrated, but you just takes a second to look around to see that everybody's going through the same thing. Everybody's being restricted. Event planning is extremely difficult. Sarah Doran is our event director, and she was doing an amazing job. We were able to pull off 2 events, and then, of course, about 4 days before our 3rd event is when everything was locked down. She had completely executed and put everything together in a very professional manner that made all of us look good. And now we're kind of just waiting to see what's going to happen. We had originally thought we would come out of this in June. We had loosely planned a meet and greet type, event, but we just couldn't find a venue that would make it happen comfortably. And
Sure.
so now, that there's even more doubt about what's going on with COVID. We're planning a July event, an August event, and a September event, but we're planning it just very loosely because we expect that it may or may not happen. So we can't be for sure about anything.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the things too is everybody is, like you said, everybody's in the same boat right now. Even for us with Milwaukee Real Producers, like I think everybody's kind of over the Zoom events a little bit. I think they've been zoomed out, right? We're in the same boat. We're looking at our next event being the end of August, and that's tentative, right? I mean, if things start continue to trend the way they're trending, I think we'll be okay. But there's a lot of unforeseen, and I think the people that are doing a good job, like you guys, are still continue to push forward, and just getting creative with what is going on. One of the things I really want to talk about too is from a membership standpoint. And I know, Michael, that was one of when you and I first talked, I think it was before January last year, increasing membership and really creating a strong Women's Council group was just one of your main focuses. And I think you guys have done just an absolute phenomenal job, particularly over the last 6 or 7 months. But tell us a little bit more about membership and how that works, and why somebody would want to be a part of the organization.
Yeah, well, it's Women's Council of Realtors is the name of the organization, and basically what it is realtors promoting women into leadership. That's the main focus. You're taking women that maybe think they want to get into leadership, or that are in leadership and want to share with other women. Men are involved as well. Men make up 10% of this organization, but it's to promote female entrepreneurs in and out of real estate. We band together as realtors because being a realtor is one of the few jobs in this country where your pay is your pay, your commission is your commission. It has nothing to do with your sexuality at all. A female realtor and a male realtor make the same on commission. And so it's a truly equal job. And it's also a job where you really can, you set your own limits, whether it's with time or, how much money you want to make. You can put it all together. So it's a good job where we can bring people in and share the leadership that is throughout the country, and throughout the state, and throughout our region, with members that want to, maybe link up with other realtors and entrepreneurs in the area. People join Women's Council for a number of reasons. Like I said earlier, I joined because for me, networking is everything, and meeting people and getting to know people. I had a meeting yesterday in, I believe, Franklin. I can't remember the name of the town, but it was a suburb of Milwaukee. And with Dana Somerville, who is somebody that I don't know personally, but I know her as a realtor.
Sure.
Her and her husband have a company, and I spent a good 90 minutes getting to know her and learn how she, what she did before, what her plans are going forward, how they've been growing their business. I find that to be very valuable. And if I find myself on the other side of a deal with her, I know her now, so it makes everything a lot easier. And, at some point, she might introduce me to somebody else that's going to enrich my life in other ways. So I think for me, it's relationships. But for other people, sometimes it's referrals. You can get referrals from around the country. For other people, it might be education. Not all brokerages. I work with Shore West. Shore West is known for their training. Not all brokerages do that. Some brokerages, basically you get your license and they toss you to the wolves and you sink or swim. And some people, do better than others. So they might look to a Women's Council for our events that might be more educational, and introduce them to maybe a mentor that would help them figure things out real estate wise. And then there's just the fun aspect. We do have a few events a year that, much like how Real Producers puts their parties together, we try to do something along that line where You can meet with people in and out of the business, from lenders to title people to other realtors, in a social atmosphere, and it helps break the ice as you're working through your career and getting better at what you do. So,
Very
I think
cool.
that's pretty much it in a nutshell.
Definitely. And I know, obviously is with COVID and everything going on, a lot of the events and things are tentative, or we'll see how they go, or, things of that nature. But I'd love to give you all an opportunity just to talk about some of the things that are coming up, in the next few months. Because I do see personally on my side, I do see things starting to open up a little bit. People getting more comfortable wearing masks, things of that nature. So my optimism is very high that eventually we will get past this sooner rather than later. But I'd love for you guys just to talk a little bit more about the different events and what is offered, the difference between more of the social events and maybe the educational events, and then we can kind of wrap up here.
Sure. Mo, you remember that event that we had in February? I'm going to talk about future events, but I like that the one that we did with Wells Fargo.
Yes, but I wasn't there.
What?
Yeah.
But you were part of setting it up because you made the introduction to Wells
Yes.
Fargo, right?
Yes.
You were there, right, Jennifer?
Yeah,
So we had 4 women come, and it was like a panel, correct?
correct. Yep.
So we had somebody from the Bucks, somebody from WIDA,
Mhm.
somebody that
It was
owns
an
it.
entrepreneur where she started her own company.
Yeah, right. That was was that the Greek girl?
Yeah.
Okay, and then who was the other one? Was an entrepreneur as well, right?
Mhm.
One sitting next to her. So that was highly attended, and that, like I said, that was the last full event that we had. We did have a murder mystery train event that we were going to put on, which was going to be a fun event. There's an electric train that runs in the Troy area, but that's not going to happen because of COVID. That just can't happen. You can't be putting people in little train cars and making them sit there for a half hour. We are currently working on an event with Shore West Realtors and Take Root. We have a member who joined last year, Joanna Jimenez, and she's runs or is part of Take Root, which is it's basically getting people into home ownership. People that maybe can't normally, you would think they would become a homeowner. And really, that's what builds neighborhoods. So we were trying to put together a joint effort between Shore West and Take Root, where people can learn about, Shore West would provide the space, and Take Root would come in and talk about what they do and how realtors can get involved to help out. Another event
Sure.
was we were going to do a VIP party at the convention in the Dells, which was going to be by invite only. It's not looking like the Dells thing is going to happen. We're not sure yet, but the national in New Orleans was canceled, so we don't know what's going to happen with the
Sure.
with the state convention.
Definitely. Yeah. And I like I said, I think, the biggest thing, and we'll definitely put some links into like Facebook pages and things like that, but I'd love to give you guys just a chance to kind of wrap up with, if people are considering joining or things like that, like what's the best route for them to take, like who should they contact and things like that. And because I love, what you guys are doing, I think is phenomenal. And based on what was going on, even before past few years, things like that, I mean, you guys have really just done an absolutely phenomenal job. And so, but how would somebody go about inquiring about membership or becoming a part of what you guys are doing? And yeah, that'd be great.
Do any of you ladies want to take this question, or would you want me to keep talking?
It doesn't really matter. I mean, anybody can contact anybody in Women's Council who is a current member. But I mean, who would you think, Michael, would be a better?
Well, I think it just depends on your personality. If you're somebody that just kind of wants to sniff around and figure out if this is what you like, I say join our Facebook page. We post there regularly. We kind of brought that back to life. It's a good way to see where our events are. If you're somebody that wants to jump in with both feet, go to WCR.org. Yeah, WCR.org, and you can join them right there. It's like $180 a year.
But your
and
best bet too is just to talk to anybody who's a member already. And
yeah,
just
you can talk to anybody, and that's the
get
thing
that
about the
feedback.
page. You can see that, who's interacting with the page and
Yeah.
what they're doing. And our events, most of our events are open to the public. If it's for members only, it will say members only. The events thing kind of sucks this year because we just can't do what we wanted to do, because
Right.
that would have been what I would have said. Just come to an event, introduce yourself to us. Anybody on the board will talk to you. That's exactly what happened at our first event. It was called Not Your Mother's Women's Council, and we had a lot more people than we expected. We had a lot of great conversations, and we signed up a lot of people that day because they could see and feel the energy that was happening with the organization.
Very much so. Awesome. Well, I really appreciate all of you taking time today. We're gonna get this video out to everybody and hopefully give them a little bit more insight into Women's Council and all the great things you guys are doing. And so, really appreciate your time today. And it was great talking with everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you, Drew.